Judiciary Committee, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz and Ron DeSantis and Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs. Thanks to the three of you. Unfortunately, you're standing at the camera. You couldn't see and hear what the president was saying the past half hour or so as he walked up to those cameras unexpectedly. But I can tell you he said the IG blew it with that report. He said it totally exonerates him, and there was no collusion, there was no obstruction, and if you read the reports, you will see that. Is that what that report told you? Congressman DeSantis, to you first.
I think it really undercuts the two prongs of the Mueller investigation. Obviously, the obstruction of justice is a joke at this point because Comey should have been fired. That's what the IG report says. Comey would be a horrible witness in an obstruction case, so that's done. The collusion angle, we've been trying to get all these documents, say, why did you start it? They won't provide it, but now we have this one text message, which the DOJ would not provide us up to this point, where they say, he's not really going to be president, is he? And Peter Strzok, the guy that opened the counterintelligence investigation, says, no, he's not. We at the FBI will stop him. That is wrong, and this whole thing needs to come to an end.
Now, Congressman Gaetz, we have the three of you on the program together this morning because together you wrote a letter requesting all the unrevised drafts of the DOJ report on the procedures that were used during the investigation of Hillary Clinton's email use. What specifically are you asking for, Congressman Gaetz?
Well, we'd like all the drafts, and Ron and I were proud to join Andy Biggs in his leadership on this letter, but Ron's point is right on. We'll stop him. That's what Peter Strzok said, and the Department of Justice and FBI hid that from us. And so if you have that type of manipulation of the information, it's entirely appropriate for us to want to see all of the drafts of this information. Remember, this is the same Department of Justice that was redacting information to Congress that wasn't sensitive for national security reasons. It was just embarrassing to the FBI agents and the officials at the Department of Justice. So we want to get to the truth. It's also important to remember the timeline here. Just 9 days before Peter Strzok said, we'll stop him, that's when he opened up on Papadopoulos, and it was just 6 days later that he said they had an insurance policy against a Trump presidency. This was bias manifesting in official acts, and it's what undermines the entire Russia probe.
Congressman Biggs, you too are a part of this letter. What do you think that these documents of this draft will reveal?
Well, we're not sure, but the problem is the draft document was done by the IG's office, and then they spent about a month or so, maybe more than a month, circulating among the DOJ, the FBI, and the officials who were named in this document. That gave them an opportunity to actually rebut and make corrections that they felt were necessary. We need to know what the IG found before these rebuttals took place. It's perfect for transparency. We found out so much information just yesterday in the IG's report. We want to get to the original report and see if anybody was tampering, or not necessarily tampering, but certainly trying to manipulate the final report as it came out.
Congressman DeSantis, back to you. The president just said he believes that this report, the IG report just out, vindicates his firing of James Comey. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I believe that the day he fired Comey. I think I was the first congressman to say, thank you for putting the country out of its misery with a guy that just shouldn't have been FBI director. And I think this, coming from a guy like Michael Horowitz, who's well respected, but is also a Democrat, he really lays out how Comey was insubordinate. He didn't think the rules applied to him, and he ended up creating a major mess. Yes, he did the late announcement right on the eve of the election, but that was all because of how he handled it at the beginning. He should have never held that press conference and prejudged the case. That was wrong, and he really gave Hillary Clinton a free pass because had he applied the laws as proper, she would have ended up having to face a case.
Congressman Gaetz, DeSantis, and Biggs, we thank you for your time this morning. A lot of breaking news. Good to have you on the program.